Imagine touring the world on a cruise ship and being paid to sing. Sounds like a dream. Then a little global pandemic comes along and the death of your father. Bora Bora and Fiji becomes Eastbourne, East Sussex. Our next guest and Foundry staff member Hanna Searle lost her identity overnight. How did she get it back? Hey everyone, welcome back to Work This Way. Today we are recording in Wandsworth, Foundry Wandsworth, SW18 London. Joined with Hanna Searle, one of our brilliant Foundry team members, and Hanna is membership manager in FOUNDRY Eastbourne, the OG Foundry.
The very OG.
Yes. Hanna, introduce yourself and thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I'm Hanna. I am the membership manager at Eastbourne, the first location for Foundry and the most dynamic, I would say.
Han, let's roll back a bit. How did you end up in Eastbourne? And I know you've got a really interesting story that involves cruise ships and travel, and you're a live performer. But yeah, how did you end up in Eastbourne?
I mean, first and foremost, I am born and raised in Eastbourne. I was born there. My family's from there. My parents are from there. I just got really itchy feet when I was 18, 19 and wanted to travel the world. And I've ended up back there where I have settled later in life. But yeah.
Later in life, not
later in life. But it feels later in life.
I know
20 years later.
You think about Eastbourne, but it's really not.
Yeah, it is God's waiting room. But it's slowly getting
average
rid
age
of that.
got to be fact checked, but average age is now 43.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
It's really, really changing. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of families. There's a lot of young people. It's getting really dynamic. It's a really diverse town now. And I think it's incredible for it.
I think Eastbourne's a fascinating place, a place that's gone through a seismic shift in the last 5 years, since the pandemic especially. A lot of DFLs down from London's.
Yeah.
Still relatively good value. You can buy a seafront townhouse, quintessential Victorian townhouse on the seafront for reasonable money compared to London.
For sure.
And schools are excellent. Lifestyle is fantastic. The beach is fine. The sea's great swimming, paddle boarding. It's a good place to live, let alone the tennis.
I mean, all of those things. Plus, it's still retained that small town feel.
Yeah, totally.
But with lots of things going on underneath. I say the one trouble with Eastbournians is that they're far too humble. There are so many great things going on in Eastbourne, but they don't shout about it. They're just heads down, getting it done. But when you dig deeper under the surface, there
are
is
some
so
great
much going
businesses
on.
in Eastbourne.
Really great businesses.
We're talking big businesses, international businesses.
Yeah,
the
huge.
guys that run the G7 summit.
Yep,
the
they're
G8
based in Eastbourne.
summit.
Yep.
They are from Eastbourne, those guys. And what Michael and
That's Identity.
Identity, yeah.
So they're a big corporate events company.
Amazing. They do the London fireworks.
They do.
New Year's Eve fireworks.
They do some incredible things. And they're all originally from Eastbourne. They're all local people.
An Eastbourne-based business. They employ locally.
They do.
Yeah.
And
Always impressed me about the town. I remember when I first went to Eastbourne, it was a couple of weeks before Christmas. So the end of 2019, 2020. And I went down, Legal & General asked me to go down to look at the Beacon Shopping Centre, which is where Foundry is now. And I was pleasantly surprised. Not only the investment that L&G made in the Beacon, the former Arndale, which is an impressive shopping centre now.
It is.
It's a proper shopping centre. But also with the town, the people, the community that I subsequently got to know very well because I spent basically a year of my life in Eastbourne, as you know. And the one thing that stood out in Eastbourne was the size of the seagulls. They are like 747s. And they are not frightened of you at all.
They are not. My husband is 6'8" and he is terrified of them.
Well, the fatal mistake I made was bag of chips on the seafront.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
You can't do that in
I won't be doing
Eastbourne.
that again.
Unless you like sharing.
Han, tell us about the moment in your life when you took that job with P&O.
That was probably one of the biggest life-changing moments. I'd wanted to do it forever. It was very an up-and-coming thing because that was nearly 20 years ago now. Back in 2008, I did my first cruise ship. And it was the thing that everyone was getting into. That's where the entertainment industry was going.
As in going on to ships and performing.
Yeah.
So rather than social clubs,
Yeah.
pubs,
Yeah.
these performers, you guys were going
Yeah.
on to cruise ships.
Because you still can make really good money and have
good money, and you see the world.
See the world, great lifestyle,
Yeah.
meet incredible people,
Yeah, of
work
course.
with incredible people, have opportunities you would never even think of. You know, there's no way I could go to Bora Bora just off my own
amazing.
back, but that's somewhere I managed to go. And that Fiji was like the epitome of traveling to go somewhere
Other
that's
side of the world
never,
completely.
it's thousands and thousands of thousands of pounds to go on your own. And I just did that as part of my everyday, which is insane when I think of it.
What was
now.
that? How did you get that job? How did that come about?
Sheer grit and determination, I guess. Because back in the day, I was really young.
Yeah.
I was 20.
Yeah.
I was 20. And back then, you couldn't just apply and go to an audition and get a job. You had to go to what is called a showcase. And these big cruise lines would have a showcase.
It's like X Factor.
It's a bit like X Factor, but it's really, really scary. And, you know, it's the first part of it is you've got to find the agent that has the slot in the showcase. So not only are you trying to get the showcase, you're trying to convince somebody to just take you. Right. So I remember back in the day, I found out that there was a showcase happening for P&O. And I then found out any of the agents that, you know, possibly might be able to take me and my partner at the time, because we were a duo. And I called up these agents trying to find which one had a couple of slots. And there was 2 that had slots. One of them, he really wasn't keen on taking us because he'd never met us, never seen us play. Fair enough. And then I found this other agent. She was based in Blackpool. And I can only describe her as, if anybody's watched Friends, as Joey's agent Estelle. She was very old school, very much like that. And her name was Eva, and she was fabulous.
No nonsense.
No nonsense, no mucking about. And back in the day, you do your show reel and you post it online on YouTube. You send people the link. It's all good.
What did you put on? CD-ROM?
I had to put it on a DVD and post it to her. And I remember this DVD, every time it arrived to her, it had cracked in the post. And it was getting so close to it. And eventually I'd sent it 3 times. She was like, I can't do a Blackpool accent, but she was like, I'm so sorry, darling. Like, it's just not arrived. And when it does arrive, it's all broken. And so I don't know if I'm going to be able to take you. And I remember begging this woman down the phone. And I think in the end, she just felt sorry for me. And she had a free slot anyway. So she was like, fine. So this showcase was happening in Southampton.
Everything, the centre of the world for
the centre
cruising.
of the world for cruise ships.
Yeah.
And it was happening in the Civic Centre, the big hall down in Southampton. And it was a bit like Jules Holland. You know, Jules Holland, when he has his thing, like everybody is set up and you go around everyone. And because we were last to sign up, we had to
So this
sit
is
there.
you, guitar, mic,
mic,
amp, like literally.
Yeah, we've set up our little PA.
Yeah.
And we're watching everyone. There's like these really good bands and there's like 16-piece orchestras. And then at the end, there's just us. And I got to the end and it was fabulous to watch everyone. And I'm sat there thinking, there ain't no way. There ain't no way we're getting a gig with these guys. So I guess maybe that just calmed us down a little bit because we thought it was a dunner anyway. So we just enjoyed our set, our 3 songs that we did.
What did you play?
I can't remember.
Dolly Parton, obviously.
No. Actually, there was some Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
Actually, I do remember one was Believe by Cher.
Oh, wow. Big song.
And I think the other one was I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston.
Wow.
So we pulled out the big guns for that one.
Yeah.
And then we, packed up, went home. And the next day, Eva, I think she was actually Estelle. I think because I've called her Estelle so much that I think that's actually her name. I think she was more surprised than we were that we got offered a gig. We got the gig. And
what was the first ship?
The first ship was at the time it was P&O's newest ship, which was Ventura.
I remember that.
Yeah. And it was only for 2 weeks at first because it was the first 2 weeks when it was just going to be docked in Southampton for 2 weeks, and it's just like a walk around for all the agents and all of that. And I remember Helen Mirren was the godmother for that one. So we got to meet Helen Mirren. We weren't supposed to, but we snuck up on deck where we weren't supposed to go.
She was the godmother. What do you mean by that?
So each ship has a godmother or a godfather, and they, smash the champagne on the bow.
Oh, I see.
To launch the ship and all of that.
Did the bottle break?
The bottle has to break. Because if the bottle doesn't break, it's bad
doomed,
luck.
Right?
Yeah, it's bad luck if it doesn't break. So we did those 2 weeks, and we thought that'd probably be all they'll have, because the whole week there was people walking around with clipboards and judging everything. We were like, oh my God.
So did you have to perform every night? You had a slot?
Every night, yeah. I mean, cruise ships for musicians, it really is luck of the draw. You could strike it really lucky and you'll get a day off a week and you'll do 2 sets a day, which is 2 45-minute slots, which is nothing.
Yeah.
But you can have
Then you get the whole day.
But you get the whole day. You get the whole day anyway. You don't really perform during the day. So if you're in port, you know, you've got to walk around all these lovely places and see some sights.
So you must have been everywhere.
Yeah. I've been everywhere that's on the coast.
Yeah.
Not so much inland.
A deep sea port.
Exactly, yeah. I worked for P&O for about 5 or 6 years. The main bulk of my career was with celebrity cruises, and that's where I finished my career. My heart is with celebrity. I can't lie. I love celebrity cruises so much.
Is that the way it is with cruising? You're a P&O cruiser, or you're a celebrity, or you're a Caribbean.
People are very loyal.
Yeah,
they
I know.
are.
Yeah, it's interesting with people that go on cruises. I was chatting to Karen, who works with us, and Karen loves cruising, and they have just done a Virgin Voyages cruise. No plug to Virgin Voyages. Yes, I would like a free 7-day cruise in the Mediterranean.
100%.
Sir Richard. But she said what was really interesting is that they matched up her loyalty profile. I'm not sure what that means, but essentially they've got a really high P&O loyalty Tesco club card of
pretty much. Yeah.
And they matched it at Virgin. So when they got on the ship, they got a great suite.
They did.
They got the best drinks package. They got all the activities,
everything,
cocktail parties.
I think that's a real clever move on Virgin's part, because a lot of people don't go and try other cruise lines because they've got themselves to such a level with their favorite cruise lines loyalty scheme that it would be silly for them to go elsewhere.
Genius acquisition.
It's brilliant
tool.
It's so clever.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So, celebrity, give us a highlight from your years at Celebrity.
Highlights of years at Celebrity, crikey. Not only the incredible musicians that I got to work with, I was very, very lucky that I got to work with some really top musicians, and I learned a lot from them. You know, there's the classic, the singer doesn't know when to come in, count, stay in time or tune, all of those things, which I don't think I ever suffered from too badly. However, I think my biggest one was I got the opportunity to work with a jazz band that I now class as really good friends of mine that all went to Berklee College of Music in Boston. So top level musicians. And that was trial by fire. That was really taking it right back down to, feeling like nothing about music, but I learned so much. And then through that, I then actually got to play with Ella Fitzgerald's son, Ray Brown. He was also a musician on board, and Ray is the kindest person. And I remember the day he invited me up to sing with him and his band. And I was just sat in the lounge watching them, and he just was like, Hannah's going to come and sing with us. And I was terrified.
Amazing.
You get this jazz great saying, come and sing with us. But he was the most kindest person. He taught me so much. And he's still a great friend of mine to this day. And
you mentioned
I'm very
Fiji.
thankful. Yes.
Where was your favourite destination?
Favourite destination? Tricky. I've got a few. I would say for actually cruising while you're at sea, I would say Norway, because it's just
fjords around.
The fjords are stunning. Because typically you leave a port at about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and then you're at sea and you're not really seeing anything. However, in Norway, you're then going up the fjords and you've got this incredible scenery. It's the land of the midnight sun. It doesn't get dark in the summer, so that's kind of nuts. You'll be outside on deck at maybe 1 a.m, and it's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's just incredibly beautiful. Really, really is.
So for life at sea, Norway.
Life at sea, Norway.
Down route destination.
Oh, I do love Vietnam and Singapore.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. Singapore's definitely my favourite. It is a long way on a ship. But typically you'd be on an Asian tour that's doing
like all of that.
All of the Asian ports.
I went to Singapore this year and I was surprised. It took me by surprise. The climate difference went between Hong Kong and Singapore. And Hong Kong was freezing. Yeah. Singapore was boiling.
Yeah. So humid as well, right?
And and I was thinking, it's not that far.
No.
But in reality, It's incredible places.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Asia.
So clean as well in Singapore.
Yeah, Singapore's an amazing place. Yeah.
You could eat off the floor.
Absolutely amazing. You mentioned Norway. I just was in Stockholm for a couple of days, and I woke up at 3 a.m. and it was daylight.
Yeah.
It was bizarre.
It's such a weird concept. I just can't. I still to this day cannot get my head around it. And I've done Norway so many times now. I've spent probably the equivalent of months in Norway.
Sure.
And I still can't quite get my head around it.
So Asia and Norway.
Yeah.
Good tips for pro cruisers.
Yeah, for sure.
Han, when you're on board, what was your sort of MO? What was your show? What was your thing?
So I started off by being in what we would call lounge acts. So you would be in the bars around the ship, and that would typically be a acoustic duo, so me and a guitarist or a pianist. I did the party band thing, so we'd be in the club, giving it some, and the jazz band, like I mentioned. And then I moved on from there because I wanted to start exploring my own side of creativity, and I wanted desperately to create my own show. That then gives you the flexibility to do much shorter contracts, so I could possibly come home more frequently, because before I was away 6 months at a time, and that is a long time to be away. So these shows that I created, I needed to create a minimum of 2, so there's variety to put towards the cruise lines. So I had 3. I had my own show that was my sort of variety show, that would typically talk about my musical journey and my influences and where it's got me to that day. Then I had a jazz show, which was basically taking modern songs and turning them into jazz with a bit of, classic jazz in there as well. So that was my second show. And then the third show was my Dolly Parton tribute show, which was the Dolly Parton songbook.
So you fully dressed up as Dolly?
Fully dressed up as
Big
Dolly.
Wig?
No wig. I would just
You
comb my
carry
hair.
it.
Because I didn't want to be an impersonator.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be a tribute to her as a person and not create this caricature, because Dolly Parton, as we all know, is a really solid human being.
Yeah.
She's so kind. She's so positive. She's all the things that we all should aspire to be, really.
Have you been to Dolly Land?
I've not been to Dollywood. Yeah. I've not been to Dollywood. I really want to go to Dollywood. I do.
What was the point in which you decided to come off the cruise ships?
It's like life always takes a bit of an unexpected turn when you've not even planned for it. Me and my husband have been on ships for quite a long time, and we'd always thought we'd started the sort of the thoughts and the talks about moving home.
Both from Eastbourne?
No, my husband's from Canada.
Of course he is.
Yeah, we met on cruise ships. Wildly,
And did you play together?
No, I don't think my husband would want to work with me.
Good idea.
So he's a sound engineer by trade. We did work together in a couple of times that he would be my sound engineer by pure accident if I was performing in the theatre. But I think I'd get on his nerves if that was an everyday thing.
And you were in the Bahamas when COVID struck?
We were in Miami.
You were in Miami, yeah.
We'd actually been cruising, and the year before my dad was sadly diagnosed with prostate cancer. So we knew Dad was on borrowed time anyway. And unfortunately, in the March of 2020, early in March, we got a call from my mum saying, unfortunately, it's kind of progressed a lot quicker than anybody could anticipate. So me and my husband decided to book flights for 2 weeks' time, to give us time for him to have the cast changeover and hand over all of his work, and so that my partner that I was working with at the time could get a replacement for me, so they weren't then suddenly out of the loop. And we'd booked flights to come home on the 18th of March. And I remember that because that was the day that the 100-day no sailing order came in. So I don't know if you remember, at that time, there was a princess ship that had a big outbreak of COVID. And that's when it all
hard to see, wasn't it?
Yeah, it kind of got a bit hairy. So that day that we were supposed to get off, luckily we were docked in Miami, but it was touch and go whether they were going to allow crew to depart the ship if they were already planned to. Normally they'd have you off at 7 o'clock in the morning, and by 12 o'clock we were still on board, and we had a flight at like 3. And I'm thinking, Christ, we're not getting home. So luckily we did finally get off. And when we got to Miami airport, every single flight under the sun was being cancelled. It was just a sea of red on the board. Cancelled. And we managed, I don't know what higher power is out there. I'm not a religious person, but I really feel like luck was on my side that day, because we got the only flight out of Miami that was not cancelled that day. And we got home, and so that we could be with Dad. And then a week later, it was full lockdown. So had, we been even a week later, we would have not been home to spend time with my dad. So yeah, 5 weeks later, my dad then passed away. So 2020 was a weird one, because I knew my dad was going to die, but I always thought at the moment that we did lose my dad, that probably would be the worst thing going on in the world. But it wasn't. It was horrific for everyone, so I feel like 2020 was the year that my life fell apart a bit, because overnight I'd lost my dad. I then subsequently lost my career. Me and my husband had nowhere to live. My husband couldn't legally live in the UK. We literally overnight had
COVID was incredible.
Nothing. Yeah.
What did you do? How did you survive? How did you eat?
Well, I was very lucky that we were able to live with my mum for a little bit.
Right.
And then, you know what it's like. You, in desperate times, you call on any kind of contact, friend, loose thread that you possibly can. And I luckily had a very good family friend that was really good friends with my parents as well. And he called me up one day and he went, "You're not going to like this, but hear me out. I've got a friend that is the sales director for a holiday home company.
Park home, yeah.
Park home company. Yeah. And they are currently looking for salespeople." I said... so
you've gone from singing to selling?
Yeah. So I didn't really know if that was going to be my thing. And I said, but I am open to exploring all the things. You've got to take the chances where they are. At least explore the avenue. If it's not going to be for you,
so you took
at least
the job?
I did. I took a job selling caravans, Adam.
There you go. Needs must.
Needs must.
Is this the first time you were in sales?
Yeah, it was. I mean, yes, but it's always been there in my background, because my dad was in sales pretty much all of his life. He ended up being the business manager for a big corporate dental company, so he was in charge of Europe sales. So I don't know if, again, divine intervention, there's my dad going, "You need to do this." So weird thing that I've kind of followed in his footsteps. Without.
How did it go selling caravans during the pandemic?
Selling?
Well, I guess people were buying caravans, right? Because they couldn't travel.
The caravan industry was having its biggest boom it had ever seen. So I turned up knowing nothing about caravans, a little bit about sales just from what I'd heard my dad talking about.
The spirit.
Got that gift of the gab going, and,
How long did that go? How long did that gig?
2 years. I clung on for 2 years, because it's a hard sell. Like that is definition of the hard sell. Yeah. It's very corporate, very hard sell, very not really aligned with my own personal values, I would say, but I learned a lot in a very short space of time. So it gave me a good grounding, how to make those deals and all of that sort of stuff.
So you're selling caravans? Probably not fair to say the long-term aspiration.
Definitely
Career
not.
change aspiration.
No way.
How did you come across us?
I came across you because I was doing a job that I quite enjoyed at the time. It was for a small family-run business, and that was all good. But a friend of mine called me up one day and said, "I've just been for a job interview. It's not quite right for me, but it's going to be the perfect thing for you." So I said, "What is it?" And so she said, "It's at Foundry in Eastbourne." I said, "I have walked past. I'm not really sure what it is. It looks really interesting. It looks far too cool for me to walk into. That's why I've never been in." But I got really curious. She sent me the job description, and it was just everything that I really am passionate about, fully aligned with everything that I believe in, my values, the community, all of that really, really spoke to me. So curiosity got the better of me, and I went for that job interview thinking that I wouldn't be what they were looking for. I didn't know if I fitted their brand and everything. And I'm really happy to say that I managed to get the job, because it's the first time in 5 years since COVID that I felt like I did doing what I loved on cruise ships. And all the time I was on cruise ships, I always thought the reason I love my job is because I'm doing what I'm passionate about, which is singing. And that is obviously a big part of it. But I didn't realize the thing I actually missed about working on cruise ships was that feeling of being part of something. Camaraderie, community, daily meeting people from different walks of life, different backgrounds, different things.
FOUNDRY Eastbourne's very cruise ship-esque.
It does feel a little bit like that.
Bridge.
It does. Yeah. It does. And it's that. And that's what made me so excited. And I didn't even really realize how good that was going to be until I started the job. So I had no idea that's what it really was until I was in there. And I feel like it's where I was meant to be.
So Ham, you take the job with us. Thank you. You are a brilliant member of the team, and you add a lot of value outside of Eastbourne as well, because you like to travel and you like to spend time in other locations and support the location teams. And, you know, I'm all about personal growth and training and development of all the teams. So I really value your input when you take your time to come and visit and support the other teams. So thank you for that. You take in lots of jobs, I'd imagine, between cruising, selling caravans, managing music venues, figuring out life after COVID.
Yep.
And obviously, you know, pretty traumatic time for you and your family as well. You settled down in Eastbourne with your husband, your Canadian husband.
My Canadian
I assume
husband.
He's got right to live here now.
He has got right to live
so
here now.
He's not a fugitive.
We're still on that long spouse visa process, but we're all legal now.
Yeah, you're all legal. You're all legal. Legal living in Eastbourne. And like to think you are settled at FOUNDRY.
Yes.
I hope you feel that way.
Yeah.
I know that you've got a sister at home who lives with you, right?
She lives with my mum.
Lives with your mum, yeah. Tell us about your sister.
My sister is probably the primary reason that we choose to live in Eastbourne, not only because Eastbourne is a fantastic place. I mean, normally when couples that are from two different countries, you know, get together.
Yeah, why Eastbourne, not Canada?
They usually have a discussion about which country they're going to live in. And I really thank my husband because he never put me in the position where I had to choose, because he knew that I would always want to be in Eastbourne because of my sister. My sister is a wonderful, incredible, interesting human being. Her name's Alice. Alice has autism.
Alice likes chickens, right?
Alice loves chickens. Yeah. Alice has her own flock of chickens.
That's right.
She's got 4 hens and a cockerel.
What's the cockerel's name?
The cockerel is called Steve.
Steve. Yes, I remember this story.
They've all got very human names.
They keep Alice busy.
They do. She's very, very she's a good mother hen, shall we say. She's a good mother hen.
You're a good mother hen, Alice.
To the point where she looks after her chickens so well. The average lifespan of a chicken, I think, is between 5 and 7 years. She's had this is about her 4th flock, and I think it was flock 2. She had a chicken that she kept alive for 16 years.
Wow. Old age chicken.
Old age chicken. She's hatched her own chickens. I remember during COVID, there was one night she was being very, very sort of cagey. And I said, "What are you doing?" And no, it's not fun. She'd been sleeping with one of the eggs to keep it warm to incubate it to hatch it. Oh, wow. And she did. She hatched 2 chickens' eggs that way. And that's how her flock. Yeah, she's a proper mother hen. Wow. And she's got a YouTube channel as well. So
what's her YouTube channel?
It's the Goodman Flock.
The Goodman Flock. Check it out on YouTube.
So she daily updates on there. There's different videos. She schedules them all. She's got branding. She does it all in Canva. And she's done it all herself with no help. She's incredible, because that's quite a difficult thing to work out yourself when you've got autism and additional needs. You know, it's not an easy journey. And
how inspirational.
So inspirational. So I'm proud of her every day, because she really has overcome such a lot. When she was really, really young, they said she would never walk. She'd never speak. She'd never be able to interact properly. She is more sociable than I am.
That's saying something.
That really is saying something. That's probably because we forced her to be sociable, because we're a sociable family. There ain't no way we're going to the pub without her. So she had to come in too, and she loves.
She works in the pub, doesn't she?
She does
in Wellington
Village.
Wellington Village,
yeah. She works in the Wheat Sheaf, which she loves.
Yeah.
And also through FOUNDRY, she on a Tuesday goes to the Gather Community Garden.
Oh yeah, in the Beacon.
It's outside of Eastbourne slightly, but the guy that runs it, Dave, he is based in FOUNDRY, and I would never have found out about that unless I worked in FOUNDRY. So that's been a great thing for her too, because
well done, Dave.
She loves the outdoors, and it's perfect for her.
So I'm assuming that Steve and the girls will move in with Mother Hen at some point.
Yes, I think that is probably the case. Obviously, my dad's not around anymore, and so Alice lives with my mum, and eventually that will be my thing to take on, which I've always planned for. I've known that my entire life since I was, early 20s. I've known that, and that wasn't something my parents asked me. It's something that I would want to do, because you see so many people that are, have additional needs, autism. They end up in, assisted living or social housing, and it's not a good place for them, really. The reason Alice thrives and does so well is that she is around her family, and she's social, and that I want to carry on.
And it's really interesting to hear about Alice and what interesting life that she does lead with Steve and Chrissy P and the girls. We work with a local charity in Poole called the Crumbs Project, and we have members of the team come in on placements essentially, and I think our last placement was a lad with Down syndrome. He came in as a host and spent 6 months with us, or whatever it was, and it was really positive. Members loved it. It was a bit of a test for us, and I think it added value to him, his life, and it really added value to our space as well. So it's something that we as a business and me personally want to support. And as we're growing, I'm hoping to be able to do this in all of our locations.
Hugely, because I think people with those additional needs, the thing that they really, really benefit from is community and that human connection, because although they find it difficult, it's the one thing that we all need, regardless of our ability, and it really makes such a difference.
Yeah, it's a big positive thing.
It's huge.
In the community, for sure. Han, looking back at your journey, exciting life at sea for all those years, what do you think sort of connects the dots? A bit of serendipity along the way, maybe some divine intervention, but what do you think connects the dots between your years of cruising and Foundry, where you are today?
I think the one thing that really pulls it all together is just people. All the people that I've met. I wouldn't be where I am without the people that I know, the connections that I've made. I don't think I've ever got a job because I've applied for something. It's all been because
contact.
of people I know, the kindness of other people. And then the thing that I've loved about all of the things that I've ever done is always the people that I've met along the way, the people I've worked with, the people that I've entertained, the guests that I've met. I've got guests that I've met 10, 15 years ago that I still speak and keep in contact with now.
Han, you crash landed back into Eastbourne. It's 2020, difficult time, lots of different reasons. What advice would you give someone facing that adversity, that sense of loss, maybe rudderless at that point, to use another nautical term? What advice would you give our listeners, our members, our network?
Ooh, tough one. Deep breath. Try not to panic, because I think the biggest thing that I've learned is, even though it doesn't feel like it at the time, it will be all okay in the end for one reason or another. There will be a resolution. You may lose that person close to you, but even though life will never be the same and it doesn't feel like it at the time, you will be happy again. It won't feel like you ever have the power. I thought I would never be happy again. I thought I would never find anything that made me want to get up in the morning. I never thought I would find that ever again. And again, to come back to people, just latch onto the people. Yeah. The people will get you through. It's the kindness that, I remember.
Go into your contact book.
Go to your contact book. Yeah. Call on that neighbour, that person that always said, if you need help, give me a call. Actually take them up on it. Don't struggle on your own. Nobody is an island, nobody. And anyone that says, I did this all on my own. Yeah. Nobody's ever done anything on their own. There's always been somebody that's given them the encouragement or put them in touch with the person that made the difference to getting that contract, or whatever it is. There are those people that will be there to help and support you, even if it's just picking you up from the airport at a very unsociable hour or whatever that is. There are people out there, they will do it.
Lean on your friends, lean on your contacts.
Yeah. I mean,
lean on your community.
That is literally it. It's lean on the people that say. People don't offer help without actually meaning it. Nobody really offers an empty promise, because people don't say these things if they don't really mean it. So take them up on it. I know I would.
So Han, How did you deal with the come down from gigging every night on cruise ships in Fiji and Vietnam and the Nordics to being back at home in Eastbourne, I guess, gigless, rudderless, and dealing with all the other factors?
Badly,
Yeah.
really badly, because it was all mixed. It's a form of grief. So I had the grief of losing my
Of
dad,
course.
and then the grief of losing myself,
Yeah.
all mixed into one. And I stupidly ignored it for the longest time. And after about a year, it was my husband that was like, you need to go and talk to somebody because you are not yourself at all. And I didn't notice it. You don't. When you're in it, you don't notice it yourself. It's only those around you that go, you're clearly not okay.
Yeah.
So the best thing I did was go and got myself some counselling.
Yeah.
I'll say it, you know, and I would advise anyone not to take as long as I did. If you're seeing those things and your family are on at you saying, you all right? Do you want to do something? Do you want to talk about this? And you're going, no, I'm all good. I'm fine. That is a classic. If you keep saying, no, I'm fine, because people are asking you if you're okay, you're clearly not okay. Go and speak to somebody.
Right. That's
Best
great
thing I ever
advice.
did. Best thing I ever did.
Han, tell us about you outside of work, outside of Foundry, life outside of Foundry,
Life outside of Foundry.
and those 12-hour days.
They do exist, but luckily they're few and far between. I think I'm lucky working for Foundry in the fact that there is a good work-life balance. So I do get to have a life outside of work, even though I feel like my life is Foundry because I really enjoy my job so much. And for that, I'm very thankful as well. But outside of Foundry, I'm a very sociable person. We quite often have a lot of friends come and stay. You know, you don't get to meet people on cruise ships and not have a lot of visitors. So most weekends we have someone come and stay, which is nice for us because we get to be tourists in our own town. And being as Eastbourne is a tourist town, there's always so many things to do. So you can do all the tours around the vineyards that we have locally, or you can go along Beachy Head. You can take people paddleboarding. So each weekend is a plethora of different things. But if we don't have people coming to stay, I'm very basic. I like to read. I like to listen to music. Me and my husband like to just listen to, you know, whole albums. So we listen to the vinyl records so that you are listening to that album. Yeah, we're quite chill, really, but we enjoy social activities. So you'll quite often find us at the pub.
And what's this about you gigging again? And you're going to be headlining a launch party somewhere, aren't you? I've just been told.
I am gigging again. So I've started up with one of my friends has a function band locally. So if he's ever down a singer,
What's a function band?
A function band is a band that will do functions such as weddings, birthdays, usually the sort of the bigger engagements. So not just a pub band. We do a little bit more than that. So I quite often go and stand in for them.
Dolly coming back?
Dolly might come back.
Hey, bring Dolly back.
Maybe.
Hove.
We'll see.
Dolly, one time. Ho.
You've been given too much information. So yes, we are doing the Hove launch party, which
Very
I'm
good.
very
You better
excited
bring Dolly
about.
back for that.
Okay, I'll see what I can do. I'll ask.
Good stuff, Han. Han, thanks for coming on Work This Way. It's been great to spend some time, quality time.
Quality time, we like that.
Yes, as you know, I'm the everywhere man,
You
in
are.
and out all the time, all over the place. So, no, thank you.
No, thank you for having me.
You are welcome, and thank you for everything that you do for Foundry and the community in Eastbourne, because I know you're much loved member of the team and member of that community. So thanks a lot. And yeah, cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining us, Hannah. Your commitment to your sister is inspiring. And who knows, maybe one day soon Foundry members will see that Dolly Parton songbook. Thanks for listening and see you next week.